Well, I mean, I say it again. I mean, the public record of the trial of 2001 brought to my attention, at least, things that were happening in 1998 that would have been a lot more useful to get it in 1998. I've just for myself put together what we knew, what the president could have told the American people in 1997 based upon what we knew. If it was a briefing of the Congress and the American people, here's what we know about bin Laden and al-Qaeda in February 1997. Here's what we know in February 1999. Here's what we know in February of 2001. And most of the information would come from open source documents, and because it would have to be delivered in a public fashion. And I think it obliterates this idea that that we had to wait until 9/11 to be able to knock down sanctuaries, to be able to go to the world and get public opinion on our side as well, that we're dealing with somebody who was not trying to attack the French, not trying to attack the Germans, not trying to attack anybody but Americans, and had been very successful dating all the way back to 1992. And we heard in the staff statement something that again, I think we have to understand what was available at the time. But I would say 70% of it was available in February 97. 90% was available in 1999, and 100% was available in February 2001.
October 2003, reflecting on progress after 2 years of waging the global war on terrorism, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld asked his advisors, "Are we capturing, killing, or deterring and dissuading more terrorists every day than the madrasas and the radical clerics are recruiting, training, and deploying them against us? Does the United States need to fashion a broad, integrated plan to stop the next generation of terrorists? The U.S. is putting relatively little effort into a long-range plan, but we are putting a great deal of effort into trying to stop terrorism. The cost-benefit ratio is against us. Our cost is billions against the terrorists' cost of millions." These are the right questions. Our answer here at the Commission is that we need short-term action on a long-term strategy, one that invigorates our foreign policy with the attention that the President and Congress have given to the military and intelligence parts of the conflict against Islamist terrorism. The United States is heavily engaged in the Muslim world and will be for many years to come. This American engagement is represented in polls in 2002 that found that among Americans' friends like Egypt, the recipient of more U.S. aid for the past 20 years than any Muslim country, only 15% of the population had a favorable opinion of the United States. In Saudi Arabia, the number was 12%. And 2/3 of those surveyed in 2003 in countries from Indonesia to Turkey were somewhat fearful that the United States may attack them. Support for the United States has plummeted. Polls taken in Islamic countries after 9/11 suggested that many or most people thought the United States was doing the right thing in its fight against terrorism. Few people saw popular support for al-Qaeda. Half of those surveyed said that ordinary people had a favorable view of the United States. By 2003, polls showed that the bottom has fallen out of support for America in most of the Muslim world. Negative views of the United States among Muslims, which have been largely limited to countries in the Middle East, have spread. Since last summer, favorable ratings for the United States has fallen from 61% to 15% in Indonesia, and from 71% to 38% among Muslims in Nigeria. Many of these views are at best uninformed about the United States, and at worst, informed by cartoonish stereotypes, the coarse expression of a fashionable Occidentalism among intellectuals who caricature U.S. values and policies. Local newspapers and a few influential satellite broadcasters, like Al Jazeera, often reinforce the jihadist theme that portrays the United States as anti-Muslim. The small percentage of Muslims who are fully committed to Osama bin Laden's version of Islam are impervious to persuasion. It is among the large majority of Arabs and Muslims that we must encourage reform, freedom, democracy, and opportunity, even though Our own promotion of these messages is limited in its effectiveness simply because we are its carriers. Muslims themselves will have to reflect upon such basic issues as the concept of jihad, the position of women, and the place of non-Muslim minorities. The United States can promote modernization, but cannot ensure its ascendancy. Only Muslims can do this. The setting is difficult. The combined gross domestic product of the 22 countries in the Arab League is less than the GDP of Spain. 40% of adult Arabs are illiterate, 2/3 of them women. 1/3 of the broader Middle East live on less than $2 a day. Less than 2% of the population have access to the internet. The majority of older Arab youth have expressed a desire to emigrate to other countries, particularly those in Europe. In short, the United States has to help defeat an ideology, not just a group of people, and we must do so under difficult circumstances. How can the United States and its friends help moderate Muslims combat the extremist idea? Our recommendation is the following. The U.S. government must define what the message is and what it stands for. We should offer an example of moral leadership in the world, committed to treat people humanely, abide by the rule of law, and be generous and caring to our neighbors. America and Muslim friends can agree on respect for human dignity and opportunity. The Muslim parents, terrorists like Osama bin Laden, have nothing to offer their children but visions of violence and death. America and its friends have a crucial advantage. We can offer these parents a vision that might give their children a better future. If we heed the views of thoughtful leaders in the Arab and Muslim world, a moderate consensus can be found.